Welcome. Take it away.
It is a joy to be back 3 months later. How many were here when we talked about it the very first time? We are not going to just review that and do it all over again. We moved on in those 3 months. But how many were here when we did that evening? We did a beautiful prayer outside. We started off that season of creation. Who was here that night? Half. So the other half is maybe hearing this the first time, which is fine. Either way, great. Do all of you have one of these? This is what we're going to walk through tonight to make it be that at 8 o'clock, no matter how much we've been able to do, we will be done, because you can always go back to this. Does everyone have we call this the brochure. It's a fancy word because it's on nice paper and it's a foldout. That's a brochure. Does everyone have one of these? This is great because we're going to work off of this. Does everyone also have an insert, which means it goes inside? It's a 2-page thing. This one I did today. It gives us partly, I think, an agenda for tonight, so we kind of like know our hopes. We have 6 things we'd like to do, more or less, on page 1 here. So I'm going to be calling, I don't know your name, so I'll be calling on volunteers. Then you can tell us your name. And you'll be reading things. Okay, I'm tired of reading myself. And since you are much more apt to read correctly, I'll ask you to read, okay? So be ready for that little task. So on page 1 over here, it says, we're going to have a meeting tonight. Well, you're here. Then it says the agenda is to review the Laudato Si Action Platform, which is 7 years that the Pope has proposed. For 10 points, who's our only Pope that has a name that doesn't have a numeral after it? Who's our Pope? What's his name? Our Pope, please. Francis. Does he have an initial after it, like Francis the First? No, he does not. Every other Pope comes with numbers. Did you notice that? Except for Peter the First. Okay, that was Peter. But after that, numbers. We have guys up to 23. Who's the highest number of? Who was the 23rd? What Pope was the 23rd? John the 23rd. Good Pope John. Then we've gotten up to 13 with Leo. We got up to 12 with Pius. We got up to 2 with John Paul. You know, Francis is unique because what Francis has done is propose to the whole world to spend 7 years, beginning November 14th, 2 weeks ago. So we're starting 2 weeks ago, a 7-year campaign around, it says, 7 sectors. So a sector is a group of people, like a diocese, which is like the Diocese of Fresno, or the parish, St. Paul Newman Center, or hospitals is a sector, schools is a sector, organizations that work civically and politically, that's a sector. Families are a sector. And he's proposing that these 7 sectors for 7 years work on 7 goals. So could somebody on page 1 of the brochure read us slowly what are the 7 goals that we as Catholic Church are going to spend the next 7 years on? Who can read those 7? They're in bold. And you can stand up and tell me your name so that I will be so impressed. I'd love to learn a few names. I only know a few names, and I'll call them if no one stands up. I know Hector, I know Lupita, and I know Fernando, I know Edgar, I know Father Byron, I know Pat, and I don't think I know too many others. So you'd like to tell us, what are the 7 goals in your name? Thank you. Thank you very much. So those are the 7 goals. And then, believe it or not, we latched on to 1 for this year. So for the last 2 weeks, we've been into 1. And does anybody know what it is? Out of the 7, which one do you think we went into? And tell us your name. And which did we pick? Pardon me? It would be adopt a simple lifestyle, that one? Yeah. But the main, you might call it big theme thing, we're going to adopt a simple lifestyle. Now, if you open up the brochure, you get to see 100 proposals of what could be our effort to do something. So we're on point 2 already, because where point 2 begins, it says, conversation over our goal is embracing a simple lifestyle. How many of you have seen a thing that comes out every month from the Pope called the Pope video? Have any of you seen this thing called the Pope video? That's its real name. Only 2, 3. I'm going to ask you when you go home, just punch in the Pope video and put a month. So if you did put September 2021, it would come up and it would say, embracing a simple lifestyle. And what the Pope did it's October, actually, even though it's a misprint, it should be September. That was the month. Sorry about that. What he did in that month is come up with the video, and it's all about how youth, namely you, are leading the world in becoming aware of living a simple lifestyle, partly because younger people are under the burden of having less to spend and have more things they have to do, college students in particular. It makes you have to be very, very aware of limited resources. The Pope is saying, you are leading us because the world needs to become aware of our waste of the resources that we have, which are limited. All of them have an end. They are not infinite. They are very finite. Looking on the handout, page 2 and 3, the middle section, it's 100 different things. So what I'd like you to do for the next 5 minutes is on your table, agree upon yourselves. Why don't we do it like this? There's 5 tables. And Pat, you could maybe join another table, and then it would be 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Forget it, it's 6 tables. So we're going to do it like this. We're going to let the first table take the first 20 of those. Start looking at the first 20, pick 2 or 3 you like. This table combines with this table, the next 20. That would be 21 to 40. You guys right here are 41 to 60. Look at them, 41 to 60. Start thinking about them. Talk about them among yourselves. Pick 1 or 2 or 3 that you really want to discuss. You guys are going to get from number 61 to 80. And if you don't mind, you guys are 81 to 100. And Pat, you can do 81 to 100 too. You could join them or do an independent study. Okay? So what you're doing for 5 minutes, caucus among yourselves over what you find in those numbers that were your numbers to play with in that group of 20. Yeah, we did divide it up so you all have 20 choices to come up with certain things that might look like they could be living simple lifestyle changers that you want to discuss. So you got 5 minutes to order up to do that. You can highlight them But do agree which ones you're going to report back on. You're going to report back. In other words, you can prioritize them and have one that you really want to talk about, but there might be someone that likes another one and they want to mention that. So think about how you'll make a little report back about the ones you like. Adam, I think if you're still there, what we're doing is using the handout that I did send, and it's that brochure. Hopefully you got it.
Yeah, I see it. I'm reading them right now.
You want to prioritize out of those 20, out of those 100, any of them that you find more interesting, relevant, pertinent, doable, feasible, practicable, whatever, that you could see them actually being accomplished in your lifetime, in your life. So you can get back to me. I think you might be the only one, Adam, attending through Zoom. If you are, I'm glad. If there's others, sorry, I don't know who you may be, but if you could get back to me, jimgrantbc@gmail.com, let me know you did attend, or and I'll make sure I have you known as you did join us tonight, even if it was only by Zoom and maybe not well seen or well choreographed for you tonight. Sorry if it isn't working out technologically. Thank you. We're going to do the group thing now. So we have reports back from table 1. If you could prioritize, give us one out of all of them, number it, and tell us why that one came up so high on your interest level. Table 1, so numbers 1 to 20. Oh, you know, someone's maybe watching this, so you can stand over here. There. Thank you.
We chose number 4, celebrate the Feast of St. Francis, patron saint of the environment on 4th October. So we already celebrated it. So that's why we chose it.
And we're going to make it an annual. This will be something that we are definitely going to institutionalize as a major creation care event, which won't only include a small remembrance. We'll say prayers, we'll plant trees, we'll bless animals, and we'll eat something from our community garden next year. That's 1 to 20 first pick. How about table 2, 21 to 40? Do you have one you could report back on? That it was a sense, or if there's a few, go ahead. But what's one of them anyways? Numbers 21 to 40. What also was interesting? Did you come up with anything?
I chose 39.
39. Tell us why. Tell us your name and why.
My name is Roberto. I chose 39 mostly because I worked out of school, and so we print out a lot of papers every day. And do a lot of paper things. So 39 is used recycled paper and envelopes. And it's just.
Does everyone know you can actually buy recycled paper instead of buying fresh paper? That's one thing. I found out a thing that was really great at Save Mart this very week. Do you know? You get those stupid little plastic bags that are for putting tomatoes in and pickles and cucumbers. Suddenly, they've got green ones now, at least in my Save Mart, recycled plastic. So in other words, never mind that it's a flimsy little thing. It's actually gone through the mill to the point that I'm looking and I'm finding not every single one of their baggy things are all green, but some are green. They're actually green plasticky bags. So I'm trying to remember, stupid me, the other day, I forgot that that one's green, this one's white. I used the white. Don't do that again. Use the green one, because if they're going to make it easier for us, do it. So anybody else have anything about recycled product? Because that's a big thing. Not only individuals can do, schools and parishes, institutions got to do this. It can't be, you know, nice couples in their home doing a compost thing as if that's going to turn the tide. That will not do it. It takes a city to decide how they're going to grow their products and how they're going to clean the air. Anybody have one more thing about recycling, please?
it out, dries it out, hangs dry outside.
That is labor intensive, but interesting that someone's taking it to the max. Like, I'm not only recycling it, I'm going to create papyrus. Good for her. If that would be it, know what I would like if you would write an article for the paper, for the newsletter, bulletin, the website, wherever we have a media possibility, a little article about that very radical position on recycling. And then it makes our other efforts seem kind of much more doable, because that's like going the 9 yards. That's awesome. Thank you. Third group would be numbers 41 to 60. I think it's over here somewhere. Hector, you got something for us here? Or who is the representative for this one? It is. What do you got there, brother?
So we decided to create a shared vegetable garden, and we were talking about how like it connect. 41. Yeah.
41.
So it's very important what you can do with that. So you can go, become involved with compost, get the community involved, also, provide some many resources to other people who can use that. And we're seeing it connected to some of the other members that are around that. Like 50, like it attracts, stags and birds and other creatures. And 57, like children become involved and they learn about the importance of taking care of nature. So we thought that would be very, very
and doable. We already voted up, at least as a commitment to community garden. Now, the staff has had the manager from Fresno Metro Ministry, from the Yeovil Community Gardens, that there are several of them across the city, the major one being the Yeovil Village. It is an amazing community garden. It is like, it's got a wonderful video that you can see on Facebook. We had him come once to a staff meeting. He will be here on February 7th at our next meeting that we're going to do. And he'll be the featured presenter like I am tonight. He'll be introducing not only what he's doing there, but hopefully get a sense of where we are as a parish regarding any progress made in the next 2 months, because we are on a trajectory. This is not like, yeah, but weren't we going to do? We are going to do this. Things take time and they go in an order. So right now we're building up steam. We're getting people interested. If anybody besides those people I named, because those people I named earlier, I have their email. So they are on a connection with me to get notices about ecological things and all this. If anyone else is not Hector, Lupita, Fernando, or SV, were the 4, you might say, energizers at the beginning over the community garden. If anyone else wants to be on the connect over progress made, over what we're doing, so that when we come in February with Chris De Leon, we will be having much more action than just repeating something, been there, done that. What are we doing now? Are we going to hear again about the goals? Or are we going to do a goal? Okay, we have a few minutes left. Group 4 was going to help us with numbers 61 to 80. And how are we doing with that? Anybody can report in? Amanda, what are you going to tell us, Amanda?
We talked about 77 use carriage droughts because the holiday season and you have to buy presents already, so you might as well do it at like thrift stores or stores that are the charity because they're not making anything and they're better quality.
I have a tremendous reputation for thrift stores. I just like thrift stores. And the idea of having something that can be knowing if it still has life in it, give it another shot. Think of it as a previously broken in item. prepared for you. It's like been prepped instead of like, oh, it's just an old shirt. No, it's actually someone got it ready. It fits me. Right. I'm just telling you my life story. Okay, number 81 to 100 is this final table. You got anything? Somebody want to be a rep? Anything from 81 to 100, guys? Table 5. Yeah, just take a
so I think like the buying, I think it's just
oh yeah.
So like saving water, and, making sure like.
So which number is that?
That one is 92, and there's also cook with leftovers, so don't waste stuff. Close windows and curtains, keep heat in. Those are all simple stuff. There's a lot of things.
Some of the simplest things we could be doing. And once we do the simple things, we can do other things. Where I want to introduce you to before we close is on the handout, the insert one, you've got some final notes at the bottom. It says, review the Laudato Si Action calendar. Oh, go to page 4 of your brochure, because that's going to let you know that Father Byron and I, from a while back, already decided we're going to commit to something that is not just random, but we'll have a calendar. And it means that we had to be here tonight because we had said we were going to be here tonight. But the next time we're going to be here, in January 11th, they won't be here, but I'll be talking to this group called the Faith, Family, and Friends. They meet on Tuesdays. I'll be meeting with them about this very project to get them involved. But we're back again, those who can. February 7th, we're going to talk about our community garden. But then the next month, we might not meet, but we have Ash Wednesday, which means we start Lent, which gives us a whole season of 40 days to be doing environmentally sensitive, care for the earth things. I really want to thank Father Byron for bringing up that image of the plant with the 4 candles around it. I looked at it and I did say when I went in, looks a little sick. I mean, like it's like, and then he made the point, yeah, it's almost like Max would say, he's not all dead, but only partly dead. But it was the plant, right? It needs care. It needs love. It needs the light around it. It needs water. It needs nutrients. So we're going to watch is seeing if that thing comes back a little bit. During April 4th, we will have a creation care meeting. 2 weeks later, we celebrate Easter. So then we're into the whole season of rebirth. So that'll give us a chance of doing things that are ecological. We'll meet in June. We'll meet in August. We'll start the season of creation on September 1, which is September 1 to October 4th. Pope Francis instituted this 5 years ago. You spend the month of September getting ready for the Feast of St. Francis, celebrating the earth. Then we'll celebrate, we'll have a meeting on the 3rd, but then on the 4th, we'll start we'll have the Feast of St. Francis, and then we'll meet again in December, a year from today. So, ballpark, we've projected a calendar which could get added to, but not taken from. We will not diminish the commitment. We'll only beef it up with more things. Last but not least, so you can go at 8 o'clock, which is already 2 hours of tremendous commitment of college students to doing something like meeting tonight. Thank you for having us be here. Thanks for that meal. Thanks for that beautiful liturgy. Last point, number 6. If you check this, I already emailed to some of you this material, so you could obviously find it in your inbox. Obviously, the people I mentioned by name. The others who want it, send me your email tonight. Give me your email if you trust me with it. It'll only be for these things. You hit these links, and you're going to get some very beautiful resources for Advent about simple living. In other words, it's going to be our 2 themes put together with those two links. They're about Advent, but they're about how we could simplify our lives and be more environmentally sensitive and also prepare for Christmas in a non-consumer, much more in a contemplative way. Simple, recycled, reused, and also revived. Things, beautiful little things instead of buying big new things. Figuring out how to give gifts in a new way, not with money, but with energy and love. Anyways, all of that can be gotten to you both from the Ignatian Solidarity Network, which is a Jesuit thing, and also from the National Catholic Reporter, which is a Catholic media source, phenomenal resources called Earthbeat. Earthbeat is their thing about ecology. Every day, there's an Earthbeat article at the National Catholic Reporter. Check it out. Any final thoughts from the community, or do we close with Father Byron or someone, maybe someone leading us in a final prayer before we leave? Any final thought? Will we have a prayer from... Yes, we have a final thought right here.
Number... Something that is so simple that you can do for that is 10 emails deleted, and every person can save 1,725 gigabytes of storage space. That is 55.2 million kilowatts of power. Wow. That's a lot.
I could be helping so much for that. Email. I could be saving. So I'm going to do that because I am a major offender because I have so much stuff coming in. I can't stop it from coming in, but I'm going to delete like crazy. That would simplify my life and it would save the universe. Not many things we do are that good. Final prayer. I don't know who wants to do. Maybe Edgar, you're the spiritual energy here.
So we go to prayer in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Lord, we give you thanks that you have called us here tonight, that you have called us by name, that you see us and you hear us and you look within our hearts. You know us better than we know ourselves, Lord. We give you thanks for this opportunity to be in community, to learn about this creation that you have in charge us with for caring about, for taking care of, being stewards. Allow us to go forth and be courageous enough to take our faith out into the world, at home, in our workplace, in our studies, the times of frustrations, anxiety, hopelessness, and loneliness, Lord. Let us never forget that you are with us, that this community is alongside us. For all our loved ones near and far, we pray for them in a special way. For all our friends and students and family members that are not here with us in the community, we pray for them. And for all those people that we know that are hurting and longing for a place to belong, allow us to play our role in their lives. Mother Mary, cover us with your holy mantle. Show us the way to give a resounding yes, as you have at this time of Advent, that Jesus is in your womb. We are waiting to see that light start. For this crunch time, study time, allow us to relax, to know that we are more than just the grades, that we are more than just comparing ourselves to others, that our identity lies within you, Lord. That regardless, you love us. We have a purpose. But also, let us be studious, responsible with our time. And let us end with Hail Mary. Praise the Lord is with you. Right now, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners. Saint Francis of Assisi, pray for us. Saint John Henry Newman, pray for us. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim.